Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join three Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about The Valley Reunion, Season 2, Part 3. So we come to the conclusion of the reunion. I really still stand by we did not need 3 episodes.
We definitely did not need 3 episodes.
I mean, especially considering last season, we didn't even have a reunion at all. So we certainly didn't need 3 episodes this season. And we start out with, it comes up. This is kind of where we were going at the end of the last reunion. Jasmine says to Danny, on the after show, you said, I can't believe it was brought up again. Danny said, yes, by Janet, not by you. Like, you can bring it up all you want. It was Janet that kept perpetuating it. And that's where Jason, goes crazy. He's like, you're a clown, dude. You're a total clown. Why? Because he's being truthful. He's letting everyone know that it's your wife that keeps bringing this up and making it more than it needs to be.
Right. Okay. When Jason says that Janet was the scapegoat, I almost fell off my seat.
Yeah.
Almost fell off my seat. I think that what Jasmine was talking about, though, I think at the white party, I guess before cameras started rolling, and she said, we're going to talk about this, Danny said to her, are we really doing this right now? And I guess that's because they had a conversation before filming started and they weren't going to bring it up. So maybe he was just caught off guard. But, and I get that. And
right,
I get that.
Yeah.
And I get Jasmine being like, the fuck you mean? Are we really doing this right now? It's, but I do think that Danny sat there and he had the conversation with them. He didn't throw his arms up in the air and was like, I'm not doing this. We said we weren't doing this. Like, he sat there and he conversed and went through the conversation.
Right.
No, it was just a knee-jerk reaction for him to be like, are we really doing this right now? Because they had already discussed it.
Right. And he did it. We talked about that on part 1 of the reunion when it was brought up initially. So I know these reunion days are long days, but the fact that now on part 3, it's coming up again, but it's coming up, like Danny said, because when she said on the after show, he's like, yeah, it was Janet that brought it up. It was Janet that I was referring to, not you.
Right.
And then Janet jumps in and said, well, I'm glad I talked about it as much as I did because he's done it multiple times since. And he said, you're saying that he's touched other women's butts? And she's like, yeah, he's been inappropriate and made women feel uncomfortable multiple times since, as recently as the Super Bowl. And Danny's like, that's a lie. And he said, that's a lie and you're really good at lying. And now at this point, she is just doing everything she can to be slanderous and to make him look like the bad guy.
Yes.
And
I totally agree.
I think there is so much malicious intent on her part and Jason's at this point.
I totally agree. It's totally malicious intent.
Right. It's not like this was a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry that this happened. There is no reason that she is talking about this. This does not relate to her. This does not relate to her.
Not at all. And then I guess she says, and other people on this cast know. So Michelle says, well, Brittany said. So Brittany says that he got drunk and was following her around on her birthday. She said his personality changed and he becomes flirtatious. Okay. That is very different than being accused of sexually assaulting someone.
Right. She even said, he didn't touch me. You didn't touch on me or anything. Just your personality changed.
Okay, that does happen. I think, well, yeah. So Andy asked Danny if he has a drinking problem. Well, yeah. And then Jason says everybody on the stage has a drinking problem.
Right, because Janice says he's done things other times. It wasn't just Jasmine and Melissa. Jasmine said in Santa Barbara that she knows you have a drinking problem. Do you have a drinking problem? And Danny said, no, I actually haven't had a drink in a few weeks. And that's when Jason said, he got mad again. He's like, you can't even admit you have a drinking problem. Jason said, everyone on the stage has issues with alcohol, to be honest with you.
That was weird that he said that.
Right. And he's like, do you? It's just so pathetic. It just
I
comes
think that
across
at
as
this
so
point,
pathetic,
Danny needs to acknowledge that his personality changes when he drinks sometimes,
right?
not all the time.
I think he's acknowledged that though.
And maybe his relationship with alcohol has to change where maybe you have to limit yourself to 2 drinks. And that's it. And then you probably won't have this problem. He doesn't make the best choices.
Yeah, no, we're gonna beat him up over this
No,
over
exactly.
and
That's what
over
I'm
again.
saying. Yeah.
It's like, give me a break.
And Jesse said Danny does not have a drinking problem. Sometimes he gets fucked up and makes mistakes, and other times he's hilarious. So that doesn't deem a drinking problem.
Right,
He needs to limit his intake.
right. I mean, and
And if
Kristen's
he
like,
can't do that, then that might be a problem.
right. But he's already said in the past, he's had problems with drinking, and Nia's pointed it out to him because they face these problems head on in their marriage, and he stops drinking. He hasn't drank in weeks. Someone who can just stop drinking,
Yes.
I mean, obvious that they know how to address their problems, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's not for Janet or Jason to be calling them out on this. It's just not. That's not appropriate.
No. And like we've said, like Jason wanting to be Jasmine's friend, sure, if you really feel that strongly. But Jasmine and Melissa have asked you now to stop talking about it.
Yes.
And you're still talking about it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it happened on the boat in Hawaii.
Yep.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
Jason says, I don't want to get all worked up and make this a thing. I mean, they're good people. Danny said, you just called me a clown. Jesse's like, yeah, you should really apologize for calling him a clown. Jason's like, I can apologize for calling you a name. What?
And then Janet tells us there's a difference between being an alcoholic and having a drinking problem. Okay, thanks, Janet. And Jason says that a problem for him would be if his entire storyline all season was about his drinking. Well, if your wife didn't carry it on all season, it wouldn't have been a storyline all season. Your wife is the problem. Your wife is the one that carried this through the entire season. Do you think Danny wanted this to be his storyline, for crying out loud?
No, no. And then Andy says to Jasmine, Jason thinks that she made up the rumor.
About the ring.
Yeah, about the ring, right? So then, Jasmine she's like, no, I wouldn't make that up. I'm not lying about that. And Andy said, I was surprised to see weeks after I thought that this had been put to bed that you and Janet are going to get tattoos to debunk the rumor. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think anyone cared about it. Kristin said, you guys aren't that important. Nobody cared about it.
So
You were
good.
the only ones who perpetuated it. Kristin feels that you did this at this point to be relevant.
She said you're not important enough for the rumor to be relevant. That
Yep.
was fucking savage, Kristin.
Yep.
So good.
And Kristen's like, I told you to your face, I was just being a petty bitch.
Right.
Jason's like, well, why aren't we allowed to be mad at you for being a bitch? She's like, you are. Like, you're okay. But you're taking it out on Danny and Nia.
Right.
Like, be mad at me. Call me a name.
Right.
Jason said I was actually more upset with Jasmine over the ring thing. Kristen's like, I don't have a reputation for exaggerating or lying. I have a reputation for uncovering the truth and inserting myself in situations I don't belong in. I was like, okay, Kristin.
At least she has self-awareness.
Yes. Yes, she does.
How about Jason asking Jasmine if she felt manipulated at all? I guess he was talking about Kristin, obviously, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we barely saw Kristin and Jasmine together this season. Don't you feel like that?
Yeah, we really didn't.
We saw
didn't.
Kristin with Nia, Kristin with Zach,
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine with Zach. I feel like we didn't really see Kristin with Jasmine that much.
We didn't. We really didn't.
Yeah.
Andy asked Jasmine what Janet did at the beach, that you yelled at her and then that she was giving off Karen energy and that she was a shit-ass friend. Jasmine's like, well, I just wanted to talk to Jason, and she kept interrupting and calling me a snake and a liar. And Janet's like, I didn't call you a snake. And then they roll the footage. She didn't call.
She didn't.
But she was
Jason
interrupting.
did, but
She was interrupting. Like,
absolutely.
She didn't have to be in that conversation.
No, not at all.
So when Jason asks Jasmine, if she felt manipulated, she says no. Andy says, well, who do you think she's manipulated by? And that's when Jason's like, well, I watch a show and I see Kristen's talking to people and saying this is Janet. Okay.
Kristin's like, what show are you watching?
That's exactly what she said.
So funny.
And then Danny's like, "Yeah, and you're watching as her husband."
Right. I mean, him saying she's the scapegoat,
Right.
I mean, what are you talking about? She did all of this. She was
She did.
responsible for all of this.
Yep.
I mean, Jasmine bringing we've said this a million times. Jasmine bringing it up to Danny is so justifiable. So
Absolutely.
the correct thing that should have happened. Danny and Jasmine and Melissa speaking about it. Not even Nia. She didn't even need to be there. This was between the three of them and what happened. But that's okay that she was
Yeah, I
there.
think it was okay that she was there. She is,
But it
his
had
wife.
zero to do with Janet.
Right. Right.
And what it was almost like she was annoyed when Jasmine was like, okay, let's move forward.
Right.
Because, I mean, Danny apologized, I believe, 3 times in the season for this,
Mhm.
plus prior to the season starting to film.
I was surprised when Jasmine went on to say that she's been friends with Janet the longest of anyone there.
Well, doesn't it make kind of sense though? Because they both wanted to be on reality TV for so long.
But she met Jason first, right? Before she knew Janet?
Well, I think they all knew Jason first because Jason was in that friend group because he and Sheena had a little thing. And then
Right.
Jasmine stalked Sheena and
Jasmine stalked
I mean,
Sheena?
I'm sorry, Janet.
Janet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I see what you're yeah, so Jasmine knew Jason first before she knew Janet. That
Right.
was my point because Jason was
Yes.
probably in this friend group. He was in the friend group before Janet came along,
Yeah.
and then somebody thought it was a good idea to hook those 2 up, which
And then,
clearly works out.
Jasmine's
They're
like,
very codependent on each other.
they really are. Jasmine's like, "We don't even talk anymore. Like, we were really friends. Like, she would come over, hang out in her sweats, we'd cook. Like, we don't even talk anymore."
You guys all agreed to go on a reality TV show produced by Bravo people. I mean, have you not watched The Housewives? Do you not see how this plays out? They
So
want
true.
people to hate each other. Wendy sent cousin Gina and I a video of Todd is he Napola? Is that his
Yeah,
last
he
name?
is
Yeah, that's how she's
Napola.
Alexia Napola, right? If you get a chance, go watch it. He's clarifying whatever role he had, his biggest regret is ever going on the show. Some of the things he says is 100% correct, though. These producers, they want you to look bad. They want a storyline. They want to twist things and edit things to make you look bad.
Yeah,
This is what Bravo's become. It didn't start out that way,
it's
but
very
this is
true.
definitely what it's become.
That's very true. Andy asked Jax how he felt about the night before he got out of rehab. They renamed the bar Brits. He's like, "Well, of course it didn't feel good." Andy asked if Zach is still banned from the bar, and Jax said yes.
And Zach's like, I was just there the other night.
I know. Zach's like, "I've been there so many times trying to build Brittany back up, when you two were fighting, and I was trying to, like, hold her up and try and keep you guys together." And I believe that Zach was. I believe Zach is, he's been there the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's funny that Jax can, forgive anybody else but me."
Right. And he's right.
He is right. Jax said, "Well, the things you said about me on social media came out of nowhere." Zach said, "Well, I want you to be a better person." He said, "I don't care." At this point, I totally agree that Jax was, like, so checked out of this reunion. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't answering, he wasn't interjecting, he didn't answer anything unless he was spoken to. Like, he was just checked out. Andy asked if Frank Drummond is allowed in your bar, and Jack's like, who's that?" Like, he had no idea who he was talking about, and they all start laughing because Jax doesn't watch the show. Jax then realizes that it's his burner account that they're talking about. Then Andy asks Jax, was he selling Brittany's Jenny Craig bag on eBay? He's like, "Yeah, I sold everything on eBay. Like, I started that back during COVID. Like, anything I could sell. Like, we needed money, so I'm selling it."
He's like, I had no income. So, I mean, I don't fault him for that. I wish
I
my
don't
husband
either.
would go through the basement and sell some shit on eBay
Yeah, me too.
because it is piling up down there, people. We're
Yep.
borderline hoarders over here. Not me. It's not
I
me.
thought that was a weird question. Like, why are you asking Jax that? Like, of all the things he did, that's what you're asking him?
Right, right, right.
Then he says, "Jax, you came to Benji's welcome home party even though he wasn't invited." He said, "Yeah, I shouldn't have gone to that." And he shouldn't have.
How about Jason having to mansplain to Jax that Zach was actually trying to offer an olive branch, extend an olive branch?
Yeah. So then Andy
Jax
said,
better never cross Jason because Jason is ready to walk through this life with Jax.
I don't get it. I really don't. I'm telling you, people online are saying that there's something like Jason and Janet have something over Jax and Brittany. Because even if you watch how Brittany, like, she wouldn't raise her hand when Andy
She did
asked the
not raise
question.
her hand. I hated that she didn't.
She has Janet's back
I
more than
know.
she has Zach's and more than she has anybody's up there.
You're absolutely right. Something has to be going on.
It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Andy said to Luke, from hooking up in the bushes at a wedding to getting engaged, when did you know that Kristin was the one? I was like, okay, Andy. And he said that they went on a really long road trip. It was like over 5,000 miles. It was them in the car with 4 dogs. And it was just like that whole thing was not a great experience. But like while he was in the middle of it, he's like, listen, if I can get through this, like if somebody can ride with me during this, like this is
Yeah.
my person. And I have to agree with him. You know, when you're in situations that are not great situations and you have someone by your side that's there for you.
Yep. Yep.
Luke never watched Vanderpump Rules. And then,
I kind of believe that
oh, I
too.
totally believe it. Kristen said on the podcast, like, I made him watch it because we were
Well, that's right. They said that they
they were
recapped it
yeah, they were, because I remember listening to the podcast. They were recapping season 1, and
and he couldn't do
he's
it.
like, "I can't do this anymore." Kristen's like, "Well, you can skip 2 and 3, and then, you can go to 4." He's like, "No, no, not doing it. Can't do it." And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. They didn't need to recap it.
No, if I were Kristen, I wouldn't want him seeing that, quite
No.
honestly. She looked a little crazy.
Yeah, Andy asked Kristen when she knew he was the one. She said the first 6 or 7 months, she was really into him, but she didn't wanna be, and then, like, because they didn't live near each other, like, the logistics weren't there. Because he has
Yeah.
he's from Colorado, and
Right.
he's got the land in Colorado. She admitted she was completely surprised by the proposal, which I totally believe.
I totally believe that.
Brittany felt left out, that she wasn't included, and Luke said, listen, he'd already talked to Brittany about it, but it just came down to Jax, that they knew Jax would ruin the secret, and if Brittany knew, they were afraid she would slip out.
And he
And
was 100% right because that's exactly what happened.
yep. Andy asked Brittany if she told Jax about their engagement out of revenge. Brittany's like, "No, I don't think she did it out of revenge. I don't."
I don't think she did it out of revenge. I don't know why she did it, but I don't think she did it out of revenge. I don't think she has a revengeful bone in her body, Brittany.
I don't think she does either.
I don't think she's as naive as she would like people to believe. She did move to LA for Jax. She knew who Jax was. She could play it off as much as she wants. I don't think she's as naive as she wants people to believe, but I don't think she did that with malintent.
I don't think she did either. Andy asked Jesse if he had a plan going into the Hawaii trip to confront Aaron, and he said, "Yeah, I did." Kristen, you said Janet was a fan of Vanderpump Rules, and Kristen said, "Yeah, well, because once she got on the show, I had known Janet prior to that, and as soon as she got on, she acted totally different." And that's what they're saying. She became a different person.
Yeah. There's a photo going around because I know we didn't get to it yet, but she says that they weren't really friends, her and Danny and Nia, but it's an old photo. And Stassi's in it, and Katie Maloney's in it, and Nia's in it, and Janet's in it.
Mhm.
So that's an oldie. So
Yeah.
she is a liar, Janet. She's definitely a liar. And I'm telling you right now, after this season, I 100% believe what I don't know if it was Kristen or Zach or whatever they said she said about Michelle the first season. I 100% believe she said it. Now, after watching this, I kind of believed it first season, but I definitely believe it now after watching this season.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
just does things and then denies it. She's a liar.
Yeah, she is a liar. She is a liar. Kristen said, well, I didn't even bring this up on the show, but even in the first season, when Jax brought around my ex Jackson, I see you sitting there in your confessionals and you're saying that, Kristen did things wrong. And she wronged this guy who was her ex. And Kristen's like, you were supposed to be my friend. So why are you sitting in your confessionals talking about my ex? Like, that you don't
Yeah.
have, like, that's not your fight to fight. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Like you're supposed to be one of my best friends. You knew what really went on in our relationship. And
Right.
then you're bad mouthing me during confessionals.
Right. That didn't need to happen. Like, there was no reason for that to happen because she was already with Luke. This guy wasn't on the show. He wasn't a part of the show.
Right.
Luke was. Like, why would you do that?
Right. Like let Jax look like the douchebag for bringing him on camera and let it go.
Right.
She wants to be that person on the show though.
Yep. And then Andy asks her, did you befriend people like Sheena and Kristin to get on TV? And Janet's like, no. Kristin said, no, I think you're trying to be someone that you're not, which I totally agree. I think you developed an alter ego on camera. And Janet said, well, I didn't change. You and I weren't good for a whole year prior to us filming. Janet said, I didn't even know you guys before filming.
Yeah, now she's
To,
talking to
to
Nia and
Danny and
Danny.
Nia, right. And Nia's like, what are you talking about? Like, you were one of the first people to come over and to meet the twins.
Yeah, there's a picture of them together when Nia's pregnant with the twins.
Yeah. And then
Maybe
Jason's
that's the
like,
picture I'm thinking of.
it could be.
Maybe that's when it was. It was so yeah.
Was while she was pregnant with twins. Jason's like, yeah, well, that's when we were on the show.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no, because when they were on the show, she already had the babies.
Yes.
She already had the babies.
Yes. They were brand new. They were little.
I know, but
Couple
still.
months, but still.
Right. Right. Andy said to Janet on the boat in Hawaii, you said that Danny, and he said it, sexually assaulted Jasmine. He didn't even say SA. Andy said the word. You just made peace with, after you had just made peace with Danny and Nia at the pool, which is so true. Like, what are you going to get out of that? Why go there? Janet said, well, honestly, because Kristin just kept saying, like, why are you attacking Danny? Why are you attacking them? And she's like, well, I mean, this guy just did something horrible, so I'm not really attacking him. What?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are. Janet said, well, I thought it was serious, as Jasmine thought it was serious. So I used the legal term for what he had done.
But
And
Andy asks a great question. If she brought charges against Danny, would anything have happened? And Jason said probably not. So why use the term? It minimizes
it. It minimizes people
it.
that are actually essayed when
Right.
someone who's not the victim keeps bringing it up and throwing it in someone's face. Because Kristin called it out. She's like, you attacked them because I was being a bitch.
Right.
And that's exactly what she said.
100%.
That's what she said. I mean, Janet even admitted that. But she's like, well, it wasn't really me attacking him because it's what he did. Technically, it's what he did. So I wasn't attacking him. Kristin's like, you tried to
Meanwhile,
ruin
Jasmine's
somebody.
not saying anything.
Nope.
Like it's just this is what makes it frustrating.
Yeah, Kristin's
Not
like,
that Jasmine's not saying anything, that Janet won't shut the
Right.
fuck up about it.
right. And Jasmine's not saying anything because she doesn't want to talk about it.
Right.
She doesn't want to talk about
And
it.
it's been made clear by her and her girlfriend.
Yeah. Kristin said, you tried to ruin somebody's life that didn't deserve it. Janet said, you're responsible for your own actions, not me talking about them, meaning Danny. So again, she's not even owning her part in it.
No, and then she says that Danny called Michelle a whore on camera. And then she repeats what he actually said, and it wasn't that at all. And Jason asks, are we not allowed to paraphrase? No, asshole. Not when you're putting words in someone's mouth and saying that they're calling someone a whore on camera when they didn't. The fact that this guy's a lawyer blows my mind. I mean, I know he's a workers' comp lawyer, but
Mm-hmm.
and he's on the other side of the workers' comp. He's not on the plaintiff's side.
Right.
I
Andy
mean, you
said,
can't completely change what somebody said and use a derogatory insult when they didn't do that.
right. I mean, everything that both of them are doing. Andy says, with a show of hands, who thinks that Janet was being reckless with the term? Everyone raised their hands except for Jasmine. And Jasmine said, so I think she was coming from a good place, at the time. Brittany was playing with her bra, her strap on her dress. So she
Brittany
went like
didn't raise her
this.
hand. Michelle didn't raise her hand.
Michelle didn't raise
Jax
her
did
hand.
not raise his hand.
Well, Jax wasn't doing anything. Jax wasn't even participating at this
Jason,
point.
Janet, Jason, Jasmine, Michelle, Brittany, Jax. That's who did not raise their hand.
Right. Janet is like, would you have preferred the word groped or molested?
Why would you use the word molested? This is what I mean. This girl needs a psych evaluation at this point.
Yeah.
Why are you throwing these words out there that one can be triggers for somebody
Right.
who were actually victims of this and are so slanderous, so incredibly slanderous? She should be the most disliked person on reality TV right now.
So while this whole thing is going on, right? So Jasmine's sitting next to Jack. Jasmine saying to Zach, I think that she was trying to be a friend when she did it. But Zach said, but you don't even feel that way, Jasmine said, like, no, I don't. Zach said, but the problem is
And then that
that's
should have been the end of it.
right. But the problem is that that's the way it's going to stay. And Jasmine said, I did in the beginning because I was so heated. Like she did feel that way, but she's like, Janet said, I will never use that term again. Nia said, I think that there needs to be clarity because there's R words and there's words that are thrown around multiple times that are not true. You keep saying that this has happened multiple times over and over again. You're trying to assassinate his character as a person to put things out there that have not happened. That's not okay. Janet said, okay. And then Andy said, okay, let's switch gears. I'm like,
Kristin said, I feel stupid listening to them.
I know.
I guess she was talking about Jason and Janet.
Yeah, I agree with her.
Me too.
Then after the gang returned home from Hawaii, Michelle threw her Zen party. Brittany said, last time I saw you guys were screaming at each other about her and Zach and Brittany. And Brittany's like, oh my God, I love him. I see him all the time. We talk to each other multiple times a day. Zach, I felt like when she was saying that, it wasn't enough for Zach. He still wasn't okay with Brittany. I know that I've heard them together on the
Yeah.
podcast since, but
Yeah.
in that moment, it didn't seem like he was okay with what she was saying.
But hopefully by now,
Yeah.
he feels better about it. So I thought that they met at college. I thought I remembered that. Like, I didn't think that they were childhood friends from Kentucky. So they met at Brittany
College.
cheered.
Right.
And then he was dating one of the cheerleaders, I
No,
think,
I think
Zach?
he cheered too.
I think he was dating one.
I thought
But
he was a
then
cheerleader.
it doesn't matter. Then they moved to
Yeah.
LA together.
Yeah.
But he did say, and then Brittany was moving to LA to date Jax. He said that. And he was between New York and LA, and he was like, well, I'll just go to LA with you.
Mm-hmm.
So she went there for Jax. She knew who Jax was.
Well,
she tried to say she didn't at one point.
No, but she met him in Las Vegas. And then he told her to come to LA to live with him. It's not like she went to LA and met him. She met him in Vegas.
That's what I'm saying. She moved there for him.
Yes, she definitely moved there for him.
But at one point she was saying, I think when they first started dating, that she didn't know who he was. She didn't know what Vanderpump Rules was. Come on.
Well, she said, what she said was she didn't watch the show. Her mother had watched the show. She said that she didn't watch the show.
Right. No, I remember her saying she didn't know who he was and she didn't know the show. I remember her saying that early on when she first came on. So, but her mom watched the show.
Right.
So clearly she knew.
Danny, then Andy asked Danny, like, how did you feel that Jax was blocking you? Not inviting you to these events. And he's like, well, that was so he could talk behind my back. I was at home putting my kids to bed and he's there saying that I'm drunk someplace.
And he was.
He was.
Jax was like alluding to that, like, oh, where's Danny out drinking?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's what he was doing. And then Andy said, well, is that why you said that Jax was sleeping with his staff at the party? And Danny said, well, yeah. And they all admit that was a rumor they had heard. Jax said he's not sleeping with anybody there. I mean, even Brittany admitted it, that there was that rumor.
She had heard the rumors.
Right. And I think Jesse even kind of confirmed it, but at this point, who cares, right? Who even cares?
I mean, he obviously cheated on her. That's been, we don't need details or semantics.
Right. Andy says to Jesse, even though your girlfriend didn't want to have anything to do with the season, I heard that she came to the end of Michelle's party. Is that true? And Jessie said, yeah, she asked if she could stop by. We were done filming. And I said, yes. Andy asked Michelle, how were your interactions with Jesse's girlfriend that night? Michelle said, well, they were not good. And I don't feel comfortable talking about it. My lawyer said that I shouldn't. So then Andy goes, I love how he went in. Andy said,
absolutely.
Listen, I heard you had a massive screaming match after the cameras went down. Brittany said she was told not to talk about it because of her threats, her legal threats. Jesse said, well, let's not talk about this. She's not here to defend herself. Andy said, I know, but she showed up at an all-cast event and threatened legal. Jesse said she showed up at 10:30. Michelle said it was very clear that we were still filming. Jesse said they put a boom over her head and started filming. He said, and as they should, they're doing their jobs.
That's right.
If your girlfriend showed up here today, you know what I'd do? I'd stick a mic on her and get her out here.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Jesse, do you understand? And Jesse said, yeah. Like he just kind of was like, yeah.
And she should understand that too. Why would she go there? If cameras were anywhere near there, why would you go?
Now, did you see she put out a statement?
No. The girlfriend?
Yeah, she put out a statement.
Really?
I didn't screenshot it, but she put out a statement that she probably shouldn't have gone there, but there was plenty of security camera footage and something to do with Michelle's boyfriend being drunk and aggressive towards her. And that's what the fight was about. And she wants them.
That's what initiated it.
she wants Bravo to roll the footage and that she did not threaten legal. The only thing that was done was one time Michelle had made some comment about her with children, and then that's when she told her to stop mentioning her name, but she didn't threaten legal action to anybody else or for this instant. So she put it out there that she wants Bravo to roll whatever they have.
That's interesting.
I think that is interesting.
I think Bravo should do it.
I think they
You
should
made
too.
us sit through 3 reunions.
Yeah,
The least you could do is roll some tape
give us the never
seen
before seen
before.
footage. Yeah, never before seen footage, and let's see what happened at that party.
Yes, yes, please.
So then Andy said his final thoughts. Reunions aren't just about rehashing the season, they're also about charting a path forward, and I just want to hit on a few. Jesse and Michelle, I'd like you to say something nice about each other. Jesse, you start. And he's like, well, I love Michelle for a very long time, and I hope that she can prosper and grow and find someone that gives her love. Michelle said, well, I've always said that Jesse is a great father. That was his whole big thing that he was upset about, that she didn't say that. And I love
I
seeing the
get that.
moments together with Isabel and him on camera. Andy asked Jason if he feels resolved. He said, it's tough. I wanted things to go differently. It's sad. It's tough. Well, you're the reason they didn't go differently, Jason. So
Yeah,
you and your wife.
right.
Zach said, do you have anything you want to say to the group? Janet, if you can take accountability for the things you've done and I can take accountability for the things I've done, maybe we can move forward. I thought that the fact that Zach said that, I thought that was huge.
I thought it was huge too. And here's the thing. Zach doesn't want to be on Janet's bad side because Sheena, Lala, they're up her ass for some reason. So if Zach's not good with Janet, he's not good with them. And I mean, I don't know what if he cares or not, but they are part of this friend group, although I really don't want to see them on the show.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Sheena on the show. I would like to see Lala on the show in a limited capacity, but I do not want to see Sheena on the show.
It's so funny. You and many people have very strong opinions about Sheena.
The thirst is, I mean, somebody just needs to just pour gallons of water on her. The thirst is just, I stand by the fact that I think she's lying about her husband cheating on her.
Okay.
To sell a book.
I mean, you're not the only one that says that.
Mhm.
I personally do not think she's lying. I don't think that she would do that to her daughter. I don't think she would make that up. That's just me. You know,
Why?
everyone
She can
has,
always tell her daughter that she made it up.
yep, she can, but I don't think it's true. I don't think she would lie about that. But like I said, other people, not just you, are saying the same thing. That doesn't make it true. Andy said that that's a good start. Maybe you can start by unblocking each other on social media. And Janet said, well, he's unblocked. And Zach says, okay, I'll unblock you.
Jason says Zach has me blocked, or I have Zach blocked. And Zach was like, oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know. Who cares, right? Who
Exactly.
cares?
We don't care, Jason. And neither
Right.
does Zach.
Jax wants peace and forgiveness. Good luck with that.
Mm.
They're ending with mocktails served in baby bottles. He asked Brittany to do the toast. I don't even know what she said, to be honest with
She
you.
basically just congratulated everyone and hopes that they can continue on, with the show, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I listened to Kristin and Luke's podcast the other day, and was Zach on? I don't know if Zach. No, Zach wasn't on, but it was a bunch of questions. It was like viewer questions, and it came up that Luke is closest with Zach. Like they have their own. Zach and Luke are very close. Kristin is also very close with Zach, and he's there all the time. That of all the people, like she likes when he comes over because he'll just come over and like scroll on his phone when she's there with the baby. You know, he does his own thing. Luke says that he has to cook more when Zach is there because Luke is always feeding Zach. Zach just wants food, and Luke is the one feeding him. So you can see that, like, those three there, they really are solid. Like, they have a good friendship, you know?
yeah,
They have a good
that's
friendship.
nice.
It is nice. It is nice. They also, one of the questions that they were asked is like, what would you, like, what's a good gift to give a new parent? And Luke said Jesse and his girlfriend had sent over food, like they door dashed him breakfast and dinner. And like, don't even ask them what they want. Just you know what your friends like to eat. Just let them know we're sending you over dinner tonight. And he's like, that was one of the that was one of the like the most thoughtful gifts. Like in the
Sure.
first 6 weeks, like what we're gonna eat was like that was like could be a fight, you know, because
Yeah.
this one's tired, that one's tired, no one's thinking about food and
Nobody wants to go out and get it. Well, I guess with DoorDash now you don't have to.
right, right. So the fact that I was like, oh, that's nice that him and Jesse are still, you know,
Yeah.
in each other's lives and getting along. So
Yeah.
I would like to see season 3. I guess we'll just have to wait and see who comes back.
I wanna
You know.
see a season 3, definitely. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna see Jax, so we'll probably see Brittany dating. That
Right.
would be nice.
Right.
Again, no Sheena.
Mhm.
I would also like to see how Janet moves in season 3 after what heat she's getting on social media.
Yeah,
It
I
like,
agree.
let's see if she moves a little bit differently.
I agree. That would
I
be
don't think
interesting.
she will.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that there's a very good chance that Sheena's coming back. And
Sheena?
Lala, yeah. And I heard Schwartz too. I think there's a
Well, I'm
very good
always here for short.
I hear I think there's a good chance that all 3 of them will be back.
What would be interesting, though, is if Jax is still living next door to him and they're filming Schwartz, and Zach's just next door sitting on his couch like, "What the fuck did I do?"
Yeah, the thing is because Schwartz, I think, will just probably just be a friend of like he is now.
Yeah.
They won't need to go to his place. Like he'll just be
No.
there, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they would torture Jax like that, but who
I
knows?
would hope not.
Who
I
knows?
don't think it would be very good for his mental health.
No, I don't either. I don't either. So we'll have to wait and see what happens for season 3 if it comes back because we don't know. Like we haven't heard for a fact that we just
We
know
don't know if it's coming back.
we just
We
know that
just know that
Jax
Jax won't be there.
right. That's all we know. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews.
Bye.
Bye.